Welcome into the latest edition of City Cost, where I take a look back at the week's news from Japan from this foreigner's perspective. And just remember, whilst the news is all real, the opinions are all my own, so feel free to leave your own in the comments below. So let's see what's been going on in Japan this week, apart from news about Carlos Ghosn. Tuna fetches nearly $2 million at New Year's auction. App to support visa law violation crackdown. Toyota plans fully sustainable prototype city. Founding member of Nogizaka 46 to leave the group. Tokyo Games art posters unveiled. So 2020 kicked off in familiar style this year at Tokyo's Toyosha Fish Market, where they held the traditional New Year's auction. This year, once again, it was the president of the company that operates the sushi chain restaurant Sushi Zanmai. His name is Kiyoshi Kimura. If you're familiar with Japan at all, you might be familiar with him. He's quite a sort of rotund guy. And this year he stumped up $1.8 million for 276 kilograms worth of bluefin tuna. That's 193.2 million yen that he paid for this. This was the second highest amount ever paid. It's a lot of money. It is. It works out at about 700,000 yen per kilogram of this tuna. By our very robust calculations, that works out at about 1,000 yen, 10,000 yen for a piece of tuna, like on top of rice that you might expect to find in a kind of regular, well, a cheap sort of sushi chain restaurant. But as I said, it pales into comparison as to what the same guy paid at last year's auction, when he stumped up 333.6 million yen, which was the record price ever paid at one of these New Year's auctions. News from Tuesday this week comes from the Japanese government, officials of which have said that they plan to develop an application which can more easily determine whether or not a foreigner's residence card has been forged. The app is planning to be put into use by the end of the year. It's not specifically aimed at individual foreigners as such. The app is something that, according to the government, they are hoping that companies can use. Companies that might be in the market for employing foreigners. So it seems like this app, when they get this app, they can use it to, scan the foreigner's residence card to determine whether or not the details on there all check out. Now, it seems that one of the common uses of a forged foreigner's residence card is to enable the foreigner to work a job outside of the conditions that are listed under their visa. Now, if you're familiar with the visa process in Japan, you'll understand that a work visa typically limits you to a specific genre of work. Now, this can be not so much confusing, but a little bit kind of restrictive for the foreigner when they've got job A, but then they decide they want to get job B. Well, they can't just sort of directly go ahead and do job B. They've got to go via the immigration authorities to change the conditions of their visa. So it can be a little bit sort of troublesome and time-consuming, although one sort of wonders, is it any more troublesome than getting yourself a forged residence card? I wouldn't have any idea how to go about doing that. Anyway, so this application is going to make the whole process of sort of determining whether or not a residence card has been forged a lot easier for employers in the future, it seems. Now, according to the news that came out, in 2018, there were some 620 cases, 620 arrests relating to foreign forged residence card. That's up 1.6-fold from the previous year, according to police. If you're based in Shizuoka Prefecture in central Japan, you might be interested to hear that Toyota Corporation is planning to build a sustainable prototype city somewhere near the base of Mount Fuji. Now, this news wasn't announced in Japan. It was announced in Las Vegas on Tuesday, I think, by Toyota President Akio Toyoda when he was speaking ahead of the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. The new city is going to be called the Woven City, and it's going to be a fully connected ecosystem powered by hydrogen fuel cells, whatever that means. According to the manufacturer, they're hoping to break ground on this by sometime in early 2021. Some of the details, we don't know too much at this stage, but according to the news article, the new community will be built on a 175-acre site at the foot of Mount Fuji, and starting with a population of around 2,000. Now the city, within the city, only fully autonomous zero-emission vehicles will be allowed to travel on the main streets. Now I'm not entirely sure that when this city gets built we can all just go and move there, should we actually want to. It seems like the city is aimed at employees of Toyota and those of its industry partners. So sustainable development and all that, it sounds really promising. But on the other hand, I don't know, does a sort of the woven city sitting at the base of Mount Fuji, well, first of all, is it going to sort of spoil the environment around Mount Fuji? I don't know. Do you think this sounds a little bit dystopian, or do you think it sounds nice and sustainable? Let us know in the comments below. Next up, fans of J-pop might have been interested to hear that Mai Shiraishi, the founding member of AKB48 rival group Nogizaka 46, is set to leave the group. Now, this news was announced on the group's website. No details yet as to when exactly she will depart. Now, Mai joined the group when they were set up in 2011, and according to some sources, Nogizaka 46 was kind of like the first group really set up as a kind of rival to AKB48, even though they have the same producer. So if you're a fan of Mai Shiraishi, don't panic though. She is one of Japan's, well, perhaps one of Japan's most popular celebrities at the moment. She's all over the commercials. I think she does a bit of acting as well, and modeling as well. So I think we're going to be seeing plenty of Mai in the future. So no panic there, but it does look like she's leaving Nogizaka 46. Which brings me to the subject of groups like Nogizaka 46 and AKB48. Are they facing a decline in popularity? I think perhaps it's already started. I think it was last year that AKB's 48 annual election, where they choose, like, fans choose the most popular member of the group to star in the next single. That wasn't held last year, I believe. Perhaps a sign then that maybe these kind of groups are on the decline. Do you care about that? Is that something that's causing you to lose sleep at night? Let us know in the comments below. Final news this week comes from the organisers of the 2020 Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics, which, if you didn't know, are being held later on this year in the Japanese capital. And they have unveiled a series of artwork posters to promote the Games. There's 20 of these posters, 12 of them based on the Olympics, 8 based on the Paralympics. And they feature works from famous artists and creators, including Naoki Urasawa, the award-winning manga artist behind the series Monster and the sci-fi adventure 20th Century Boys. Urasawa's created a poster in the style of a Japanese comic book. Posters also feature works by Turner Prize-winning British painter Chris O'Filly. Now, these posters are the subject of an exhibit taking place at the Museum of Contemporary Art Tokyo. That's in Tokyo's Koto Ward, I think. And that kicked off on January 7th, ends on February 16th. So if you're interested in the Tokyo Olympics, if you're interested in art, if you're interested in both, why not check it out? In the meantime, if you've got any opinions about the news we've just read out this week, let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you next time.